Alright guys, so it just so happens today I'm going to be out here at Beaman Park, and the plan is to bring you guys along, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hike the whole entire trail system and show you guys some of the highlights, or what I feel in my opinion is some of the highlights of it, and I'll show you the map here. So right now we are at, let's see here, we're here at the Nature Center. What we're going to do is we're going to go down and we're going to hang a left right here on the Henry Loop Trail and go up through here, and then we'll cross over to this spur trail, follow it all the way out, and go all the way out to the Ridgetop Trail, and then we'll come back. And then we'll come back along the original trail here. This spur trail, of course, you can see that it parallels the original trail. And then we'll go back down and get back on the Henry Loop Trail, go to the Creekside Trailhead, and then come back up. So we will follow that out and see what happens. And this area right here is in the back of the Nature Center. And as you can see, they got rocking chairs in this deck area where you can actually overlook on the back side of the Nature Center. So this is kind of neat. Being up in this high makes me feel like I'm in a tree stand, even though I hadn't hunted in the past 15 years. Kind of cool. So I'm walking down the beginning of the trailhead here, and it's a little warm today. It's about around 90 degrees, but the good thing is the humidity is low. And here in Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, over the past couple of weeks, the humidity has been a killer. I mean, just horrible. And so they were calling for low humidity today, and thank goodness for that. So we're going to make our way up here to the beginning of the trail. There's an information board up here, and I'll show you guys that here in just a second. Here's the information board I was telling you about. And as you can see, there's a lot of information here. Looks like they got the schedule for August and July. They do stress that keep everything in your trunk, because you will see broken glass laying on the pavement. And then right over here at the beginning of the trailhead, they have a little shelter area where you can go and see it if you need to, hang out, whatever. Alright, so we'll begin the trail. So a little history here from what I've read is that originally this area was known as Paradise Ridge. And the story goes that there was two settlers, two brothers, and they were called the Paradise Brothers, and so that's kind of how it all began here as far as the name goes, Paradise Ridge. The trail's kind of well worn down, so that's a plus. It's well used. One of the staff members here had told me that this trail system here is quickly becoming what they call loved to death, which is good, you know, to a point, but if you want to get away from people for the most part, this ain't going to be quite the trail to do it. You're going to see a lot of people out here, but nonetheless, it's the closest trail for me as far as hiking goes. That's nice. So now we're starting to get into where the switchbacks are, and I forgot to mention we're on the Sedge Hill Trail, and that's the trail that starts at the nature center. And I say we're starting to get into some switchbacks now. It's starting to go downhill really good, so I'll catch up to you guys here in just a little bit, and I'll show you some of the neat features along this trail. One of the turns here in the switchback, and this tree right here is kind of famous. Of course, it's been carved on a little bit, and this is one of those trees that supposedly the Indians bend over to mark a trail or a turn or something. I don't know if that's true or not, but anyhow, there it is in all its glory. Also, too, one of the cool features is they do have benches along the way. So if you ever have to take a break, you got a place to sit. So that's one cool thing about this trail, which is it does has its challenges, that's for sure. This is another cool feature right here. This tree actually has like stair steps for roots. And some more history about this place. Back in the 70s, I believe it was, there was actually a group of doctors by the name of the Berry Hill Partners that bought this property and had it for hunting. So you can find remnants on the other parts of the trail. Well, not actually the trail, actually the other parts of the property. I've been on off trail hikes with staff members here, and there is old tree stands and back there. So of course they're not tree stands from the 70s, but I think what happened was the Blueberry Hill, I may have said Berry Hill, it's Blueberry Hill Partners, sold the property, I think in 96 to I think Metro government, I think it is, for like half of what it appraised for. So I'm sure that was probably a substantial savings for them. And it's kind of funny you think about Blueberry Hill Partners. It's kind of like kind of sounds like a bluegrass band. Kind of makes me think of, you go to the Grand Ole Opry and all of a sudden you hear, "We'd like to welcome everybody tonight to the Grand Ole Opry, and we've got a special treat for you tonight. We got the Blueberry Hill Partners, and they're going to perform tonight. And they're off their debut album, Paradise Ridge. Kick it off, boys." Alright guys, I want to show you something right quick that's kind of cool. And I found this probably about 3 years ago. Never did pay attention to it on the trail. I can hear my phone talking to me. Check that out. And I don't know if that was grafted to the other tree like that, or if it grew like that naturally, but that's kind of cool. Alright, so now we're making our way down here to the bridge. This is the end of the Sedge Hill Trail. When you cross this bridge right here, you'll actually be on the Henry Loop part of the trail. Like I said, this trail right here, it comes from the Nature Center. And there ain't any other trails that split off from it, so it's a straight shot down. And here's the bridge. This creek has always had water, and I've never seen it dry before. So it's always flowing. I'm sure if you ever needed water, if you had a water filter, you could bring that and pump water from it. There's never been any signs saying not to. Alright, so we'll go over here to the sign here. Trail signage. Alright, so you see the top's the Henry Loop Trail, 2-mile loop. And then the Creekside Trailhead, of course, roughly a half-mile that way. And that's the parking there's not as much as it is at the Nature Center, but they do have porta potties there that they keep clean. At least every time I've been in it, they have been, so that's a plus. And then, of course, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the left and follow the Henry Loop up. And what's going to happen is we're going to go up, and there's going to be a switchback. It's long, and then it's going to curve around, and then it's going to go the trail's going to go real far that way. Like probably a mile, maybe a half mile, before we actually crest the top. And there's a nice saddle up there. And of course, I'll film that for you. And of course, the Highland Trailhead is up there too. So, here we go. And for some reason, I guess being how far this is down the bottom, it's always muddy right there, always. Alright guys, so we're right here. We're making one of the turns here on the switchback. Of course, the bridge we cross is right down there, not too far, maybe, well, probably about 150 yards maybe in this direction. So you come around, and this right here, of course, is the beginning of the ridge going up. And so what's going to happen is this trail is actually going to parallel this ridge top right here. It never makes it up on top till we get about maybe, I'd say probably a quarter of a mile, maybe a half a mile down, and it'll stay roughly about 500 feet below this actual ridge line. So you can see the crest of it the whole entire way pretty much while you're walking the side of the trail. And the elevation gain here is, I want to say it's right below 1,000 feet. So I'm guessing maybe 975 is what the elevation gain is going to be. Big old spider web to the saddle. You see it's nice and flat. And what happens at this point, now that we're on top, the trail's actually going to go and fall on the other side of this ridge line. And once again, it's going to stay about 500 feet below from the top. And we'll wrap around. And what we'll do is we will actually come to an intersection up there where the ridge trail is, ridge top trail. And then there's a spur trail straight across, and that's what we'll do. We're kind of making a figure eight, kinda. And so we'll cross over, and that spur trail will actually parallel the ridge top trail for a short distance, and then it'll rejoin it, and then we'll follow it all the way out to the end. And there's actually something neat there if you're into geocaching. You can do that out here. They have I don't know if they have a couple of boxes, maybe 2 or 3 out here. So if you're into that, you can definitely check it out. But eventually what they're supposed to do is at the end of the ridgetop trail, they're supposed to extend that sometime in the future. As you can see off, there's some steep draws down through here, and that one right there is steep. The camera don't do it justice. But what's going to happen is this trail is going to actually just curve around. I say it'll eventually meet up with the ridgetop trail, and that right there, that trail is actually an old logging road. So it's wide. A lot of trail runners run that. They also run out here too, but a lot of them actually hit that ridgetop trail. So we finally made it to the ridgetop trail. And when you come up here from, that's the way we just came. This is like a crossroads. It's an intersection, 4 ways. So this is the ridgetop trail that runs, also a part of the Henry Loop. So ridgetop trail begins right here, but it's also, like I say, it's a part of the Henry Loop trail. And then this right here, this is the spur trail that's going to connect back with this one. And it's, like I say, it says it's a shortcut to the ridgetop trail, which is, it's way more scenic versus the original trail. But like I say, a lot of trail runners, they'll run this for the most part. And like I say, this trail's wider. It's an old logging road at one time. You can't really tell it when you get down through here, but when we get further down, you'll actually be able to tell that it is a logging road. So yeah, we'll take the spur trail here. Like I said, it's going parallel, and then we'll meet back up on the ridgetop trail. So we're still on the spur trail here, moving along, and it's actually cooler on this side. I don't know if I'm catching a wind coming up from this draw or what, but I like this side a whole lot better. I think I might stay over here, camp out, tell my wife I'm not going to come back home. She wouldn't like that too much. But yeah, I don't know what my pace is. It's probably slow. I'm always slow for the most part, but they say you hike your own hike. Hey-yo, or however you say it. Hi-yo. I've always wanted to see a rattlesnake out here, but I've never seen one. I started thinking today would be a good day to see a rattlesnake. I know they gotta be out here. I've only seen one rattlesnake my whole entire life, and I was in the Smokies. That's whenever, actually it was me and John, his brother. We went on a primitive road that we found near Cades Cove, and it spit us out onto the Dragon. And we kept on hearing motorcycles, and sure enough, we got towards the end of the road, and there's one of the crotch rockets flying by. The guy was skinning his knee going around a curve. But we crossed a little bridge right before we got to the Dragon, and that's where the little rattlesnake was. I actually got a picture of it with my old Minolta 35mm camera. I don't know where that picture is, but it's somewhere in my house. But that rattlesnake, he was maybe, I don't know, maybe a foot and a half long. Still wouldn't want to get bit by him though. So this is where the spur trail joins back onto the ridgetop trail. And you'll know you're always there by this bench right here. And this bench used to not be like this. It looks like, I don't know, maybe termites. Only thing this thing's probably good for now is probably wiping your butt on. Yeah, maybe not. Scratch and post. So this right here, this trail, this is, like I say, this is you can tell this is a logging road. And that right there is washed out big time. A little on the steep side too. I say this is where a lot of trail runners come. They'll come down through here. Sometimes they come in herds through here. I was telling you guys earlier that I did some off-trail hiking here, and that was, I guess maybe about 3 years ago. And I got a little story to tell. So, me and one of the staff members that work here, actually I'm good friends with him, and 3 other hikers went down to the Proctor Farm trailhead and started there. And we were probably maybe about not 3 miles, maybe about half mile, somewhere over in this area camping. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's probably about right in there. But anyhow, one of the guys that was with us, it was actually a couple, a young couple, and an older gentleman. He was a retired, I'm sorry, he wasn't retired. He was a Metro police officer, but he worked in one of the juvenile correctional centers. And when he showed up, he was slim, trim, fit. Unlike me, I'm big enough to run off diesel. But he went to Walmart that night and bought one of those little Walmart hammocks. And he had a little bit of food with him, flashlight, hiking boots. He was like super ultra light. I mean, like carbon fiber ultra light hiker. He didn't have hardly anything. He didn't have a backpack or nothing. And we thought it was kind of strange, but after we had gotten to where we were actually camping at, he set up his hammock and everything, and that night it got cold, and I felt so sorry for that guy. And it's funny, we got up that morning and we immediately built a fire so he could unthaw, but he was in that hammock. And I can't remember how cold it got, but he was wearing a Columbia Sports nylon type button-up shirt with an undershirt up underneath it. Had some zip-off pants that looked to be nylon, and he had that hammock carabinered to his to one of his belt loops, and had like a little stuff sack full of food. And I kind of think that he came unprepared, but he survived, and he was a good sport about it. And I actually enjoyed talking to him. And I say that was one of those trips. Whenever he showed up, I was just like, oh my gosh, because here we are, got 65, 75 liter packs, that weigh, 25, 30 pounds, and here's this guy that shows up with maybe 7 pounds worth of stuff. Unreal. Just passed this young lady, and she had her dog with her. It's an older lab, and that dog was struggling. And it looks like she just had water just for her, not for the dog. And we're easily 2.5 miles back, almost 3 miles from the nearest trailhead. That dog, I won't be surprised if I come back if that dog's stopped in the middle of the trail, and she's probably gonna be yanking on it to get up. That dog was in bad shape. So we're just about at the end of this trailhead, but I want to show you something right quick. Okay, so I was telling you that I've done off-trail hikes here like backcountry hikes. And if you ever get the chance to go, like I say, you camp about 1.5 miles that way. You start at the Proctor Family Farm trailhead, and the trail that you actually come up is this old logging road right here. You can see if I can zoom in and see if you can see it. That's actually a logging road, and it comes up out of the bottom down there. And the logging road, it's this right here, the section that you see here. It's steep, but the further down you go, it gets steeper, and the road is washed out bad, and I mean the gullies in it are almost as tall as I am, and there's like little ridges that you walk on, and when you look on either side of those ridges, it's like a drop of like 6 foot, so it's kind of like a balancing act. And I actually got down in one, and it came up to about my neck, and I'm 6'3", so if you ever get a chance to come up, just when you come to that area, be prepared to have your balancing sticks with you, guys. So we finally made it to the end here, and got the little register box here, and so I'm looking through it, and I see something familiar in here. What is that? Safety management principles. I don't know who could have put that in there. So I'm sitting here reading the register, and you can't really see it on camera, but it says Toby and John, September 7th, 2014. John found by almost pissing on it. So yeah, 2014, September 7th, me and John was out here. Also too, if you guys are interested, John's on YouTube. His YouTube handle is actually Outdoors for Fun, so you guys can check out his channel. He's got a lot of hikes on there, so check him out. I guess I'm going to jot something down here to show that I was here today. Alright, so we made it here to the end. There's some benches, and once again something is eating into these benches too. I guess it's some type of insect or something. These used to not be that way. Every single one of them's eat up. But anyhow, it looks like there's a trail going this way, and this is all new, which is the trail is supposed to eventually continue out this way, but it looks like people has been doing it on their own, making the trail go this way. And this is not official Beaman Park trail here. I'm not going to go any further, but I don't know, maybe it's an area to where you can go and relieve yourself, who knows. But anyhow, so a big majority of the property of the 1,688 acres is all on this side here. A lot of it keeps going that way, but the big majority of it's all out through here. And then this side over here, I think whenever you make it down the bottom of this hill, that's private property over there. I'm assuming it is, because it's not marked, of course. So anyhow, we'll make our way back, and I will probably record whenever we get back to the spur junction. Done turn the hat backwards. Aerodynamic. Another thing that I'll touch base on if you ever come out here is they have night hikes out here, and of course it's led by one of the staff members, and I've been on several of the night hikes. And one thing that I see so many times is when people come out here, they're unprepared. They're thinking that the trail's going to be like this, flat and smooth and not very long. Well, when you do the Henry Loop Trail, it's not the case. And oftentimes, you know, people come out here and they won't bring water. they might bring one bottle. That ain't enough. And you need to bring at least 3 or 4, depending on how many people you've got with you. And bring some good shoes, and bring a headlamp. I mean, flashlights are good, but if you got a headlamp, if you can afford to go out and buy a little cheap one, do that. I mean, because it makes a world of difference. All the times I come out here, I usually pull up the rear and I'll let whoever's leading the hike that night, they'll lead, and I'll take it through, because I know all the trails out here. And it happens so many times that somebody does not have enough water, or if they got kids with them, usually it's a mom and she'll have 2 kids with her, 3 kids, and they don't realize what they're up against. So if you got good shoes, bring good shoes, hiking boots, plenty of water, and a headlamp. It'll definitely make a difference. Alright guys, so we have made it back to the spur trail, and you can tell right there that you go right or left. That's where we came from. We went to that direction, went all the way out, coming back. So I'm gonna go ahead and perform this rock climb here. As you can see, I don't know if you can see it that well, but it looks like kind of rocky road. So I'm gonna march my arse up there, and I'll see y'all at the junction up there where the crossroads is. Alright guys, we have officially made it back to the crossroads. That's where we went in. We came in from this way here. That's where we crossed over, and now we're gonna go straight this way. Yeah. Hopefully the camera wasn't all over the place on that. Highland Trailhead, 0.3 miles. So we'll go this way now. Travel this section of the Henry Loop Trail. It's real close to these trailheads, and if you're wanting to get away from people, the Ridgetop Trail is the one to go to. As you get closer to these trailheads, you'll see more and more people, because they'll come in so far, quarter of a mile, half mile, and then they'll turn around and come back. So I've done passed like 4 or 5 people within 0.2 of a mile. So yeah, if you want solitude, the Ridgetop Trail, once you get past you get over where the spur is, where it connects back in, that's where you'll start seeing less and less people. As I say, most of the time they won't go that far. Usually they just do the Henry Loop Trail, which is the trailhead. It's right up here, it ain't too far. And then we're going to cut back down, and we're going to go to the Creekside Trail here in just a second. So that's where we just came from, and this is the continuation of the Henry Loop Trail right through here. And right up there, that's where the parking lot is, the trailhead for the Ridgetop Trail. If you don't want your car broken into, don't park up here, because it's real secluded up here. Actually, there's a huge hill you come up, and this is where a lot of break-ins happen. We could probably go up there right now, and we'd probably find glass laying on the ground, which I ain't going to do that. Wife's done called, checking on me. Probably thought Sasquatch done smacked me over the head and drug me back to his lair. So I'm going to keep moving on. It's definitely hot, definitely hot. So we'll continue this way and see what happens. So I just now passed two people out here walking their dog, and I could smell these two before I even seen them. I thought they done put a Bed Bath & Beyond out here. I mean, he had the cologne on, and she smelled like a freaking birthday cake. And I thought my nose was jacked up. That was kind of crazy. So I had mentioned to you that I've done several night hikes out here. I'm gonna tell you a story that happened one time back about 3 years ago, maybe about 4 years ago, I'm not sure. Me and my son came out here on a night hike, and we were traveling along, and there was a thunderstorm that was rolling in that particular night, and according to radar, we were going to miss it. It was going to kind of swing up towards the north, but what wound up happening is it didn't quite work out that way. The gentleman that I was with, I said this is one of those times where being prepared is important. He just had open heart surgery like a year ago, and they were expecting the trail to be a little bit more friendly, but we was about in this section right here that you see, and lightning, we could hear it thunder off in the distance, and lightning was crashing, and it just got closer and closer, and the group trudged on, and I was with him, and we were walking through here, and there was lightning starting to crash. I mean, all around us. I mean, it's the type of lightning that you hear the actual, you know, the and then boom. I mean, it was just all around us, and it was crazy. So, yeah, and that was scary, and we finally made our way down here to the trailhead, the creekside trailhead, and one of the staff members was actually waiting. He had sent the group on, and my son was actually with that group, so he knew the trail, and there was one other individual that knew the trail as well, so that was a plus. And so he was having to wait on us, and by this time it had started pouring out, raining, and like I said, it was lightning everywhere, wind was whipping, and me and that guy, we were sitting there just talking nonchalantly, going down the trail, trying to stay calm. Well, I was fairly calm. I mean, I was scared a little bit because I didn't want to get struck by lightning, but I said to myself, you know, if a tornado comes through, we've got that to go down into, and you know, so it was scary. And finally, what wound up happening was, the staff member was waiting. He had sat down at the creekside trailhead with that gentleman, so I took off running, going up the creekside trail, and or the Henry Loop. It's part of the Henry Loop Trail, and as I was running, I wasn't running, I was actually just jogging more or less, and I had my headlamp on, and then all of a sudden I seen this white figure in front of me, and it was the man. It was his wife, and she was waiting on us, or waiting on him. And I told her that, you know, that one of the staff members had sat back at the trailhead with him, and I was going to go down there in my car and get him. And so me and her trudged on, and of course she was, you can imagine, her nerves were kind of frayed a little bit from that, but long story short, we got up there, and I got in the car and made my way down there and picked them up, and everything ended well. Everybody was safe, but that's one of those memories that I won't ever forget. My son won't ever forget it either. It kind of rattled him a little bit because we were separated, and he was younger at the time, and he was with these group of people that he didn't know. But you know, everything went well though. Alright guys, so that's the trail we just came down. And then we're going to go back this way right here. It's part of the Henry Loop Hollow Trail. And then this right here is the trailhead right here. And the parking lot's over here. ain't gonna walk all the way over there, and I say I gotta get back home to the wife. Alright, so we'll make our way along here. I just seen a blue heron down here in the creek. Where's he at? He may have flown off. Where did he go? I just barely caught him out of the corner of my eye. He was kind of walking along real slow. I lost sight of him now. Yeah, this is the trail here, and like I say it parallels the creek. I don't see him. Perhaps he flew up the creek. So I was telling you guys that on that night hike I was jogging down the trail trying to get back. I was coming up through here, and that lady was standing right here on this bridge, and it's funny, I came down through here. Of course I was just lightly jogging, and I seen the bridge. Wildflower. As soon as I turned and got on this bridge, she was standing right here, and she scared the crap out of me. And I talked to her for a second, told her what was going on. Told her one of the staff members that was back there at the trailhead with her husband. They was just sitting and waiting. I said it was pouring down rain, lightning crashing everywhere, wind was whipping. So yeah, we had to kind of rush along, but I didn't want for her to trip and fall, because she appeared to be in her early 60s, and so was he. So yeah, it was an exciting moment. My phone keeps talking to me. Alright guys, so we just pretty much completed the Henry Loop Trail. So, as you can see, there's the bridge. Nature Center, 0.6 miles. So, we'll head back up. Guys, we finally made it back. There's the old information board. There's the shelter. Now, I think I'm gonna go home and give me a shower, of course, and then get me a little bite to eat. Plop down on plop down on that couch with some coffee and edit this here video. Alright. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It ain't all that, but it's something. Yeah. I'm a little haggard, just a little bit.